There's times where I go into my classroom with a plan and I do the complete opposite.
Hmm.
Observations, have to set up your lesson plan. I have a whole plan. They come in, I'm doing something totally different. That's what teachers do. Like, that's what we do. We fill out the room, we see where our kids are getting at, and we change the lesson based on how they're retaining the information. I think that's how I live my life. You have to be able to adjust to the different. I believe, yes, always plan, but be flexible. Be
Mm.
okay with being flexible.
You are now listening to the Lifelong Learning Defined podcast with your host, George Valenzuela.
This is education coach George Valenzuela. Welcome to the Lifelong Learning Defined podcast, where I provide all educators, whether instructional leaders or teachers, tips on how to be their best both personally and professionally. Now let's get into it. We're here today with an incredible educator in person, my new friend Cabrina Dixon. Cabrina is a middle school teacher, lifestyle influencer, and mom of four based in the ATL, Atlanta. I first learned about her work on Instagram and later on TikTok. I immediately fell in love with her content, positive energy, and I knew I had to have her on the show. Her social media game is crazy. She's killing the game, y'all. And she's someone we should all learn from when it comes to content creation. Much respect to you, Cabrina. How are you?
Hey, thank you so much for having me on here. It really is an honor. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Now, Cabrina, you're a full-time teacher, mom of four, like I mentioned, and a content creator. That's a lot of
Mhm.
hats, girl. How do you balance it all and still show up with energy and joy for your students and your audience?
I've always operated in my life through Jesus Christ. He fuels me with energy and strength. It even says in his word, where I am weak, he is my strength. And sometimes I don't know how I get through the day. I push through. Sometimes I have an energy drink. Shouts out to Bloom. You got to get the energy drink in to keep
Mhm.
going. It really is the joy in teaching and mothering and wifing that honestly keeps me going. Like I said, people ask me, how are you doing it? And sometimes I really can't say how. I just know that prayer, devotions, and energy drinks is what keeps me steady.
What I love about you is that you're not afraid to show what you're going through the day. Like you just said, energy drinks. When I catch what a teacher eats throughout the day, right? Like that's one of your themes. You show at each interval, but you're also showing how it's fueling you energy. And
Mhm.
I love how you said wifing, parenting. A lot of people don't understand this is our responsibility. And you mentioned God, and
Yeah.
it's a God given responsibility. Some
Yeah.
people believe it's a sacrament. Some people believe it's a contract, but regardless, it's a responsibility. And I love that you don't shy away from saying that.
Yeah. It's my life. It's what I'm used to. It's what I was raised on. My mother had four children. We're just opposite. I have three boys, one girl. She has three girls, one boy. I have three boys, one girl. And
Okay, it flipped.
so I watched my mom do this. And if she can, I can. And she was an immigrant coming in. I'm
Mm,
a first generation Haitian American. If
okay,
she could do it, I could do it.
that's a great attitude to have.
Yeah.
Cabrina, your classroom routines and chants are fire. What's one engagement strategy you swear by that gets your kids locked in and ready to learn every day?
Just building that relationship in the beginning. I
Mm,
don't ever begin my lesson with just, okay, let's start no, I don't ever do that. The kids go to connections, which is like electives.
mhm.
In the very beginning of the day, they have homeroom. In homeroom, I still build that camaraderie, that relationship with my students. I pick a name out of the hat and they get to pick a clean, good song on YouTube and we'll play it. They'll do any kind of bell ringers that I have for them. And, I'll dance along and we'll have
That's it.
conversations and stuff like that. I'm preparing my students in a social, emotional way to learn. That's pretty much how I begin my days with my students. And that's what keeps them engaged. The fact that we have a relationship, it's like, okay, we just finished laughing. Let's get down to business. Yeah.
Also, very culturally relevant. The way you show up at school is the same way you show up at home when you walk in the door and your babies always greet you. Then I see your
Yeah.
husband sometimes in the mix around here and there, and you're making dinner. But I've noticed that you're authentically yourself, which makes you culturally relevant in your instruction. And I think a lot of people need to understand that. I've been looking a lot at content creation recently. My content creation is not like yours, it's very different. Yours is more engaging, more fun. You do provide value, whether it's making somebody smile, making someone laugh, or showing them a strategy. Mine is less entertaining. I believe it is helpful, but I'm finding on the post that I share a little bit about my story because your story is part of your brand. Those get the highest engagement.
Yeah.
When I put that Jay-Z track on, when I'm a little more of who I am, I'm always professional and I show a little bit behind the doors. I'm learning how to do that. I'm not sure if I can sit up there and eat in front of people. I don't think I will look as good as you do. I have to say, being authentic is very important. Anybody out there listening, Cabrina, in my opinion, she's the embodiment of being authentic and being real, which makes her culturally relevant to her students. And that's very important.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Cabrina, on your social platforms, you've been transparent about the challenges of being a
Mhm.
teacher mom. What's one piece of advice that you would give to other educators who are trying to juggle both worlds without burning out?
We are professional planners, but we are
Mm,
also professional multitaskers. There's times where I go into my classroom with a plan and I do the complete opposite.
mhm.
Observations, have to set up your lesson plan. I have a whole plan. They come in, I'm doing something totally different. That's what teachers do. Like, that's what we do. We fill out the room, we see where our kids are getting at, and we change the lesson based on how they're retaining the information. I think that's how I live my life. You have to be able to adjust to the different because you can never expect your child to do exactly what you want them to the time that you tried to make them do one thing. I come home and I expect my kids to have already done their homework, to have already done this, to have already done that, and it's totally different. I believe, yes, always plan, but be flexible. Be
Mm,
okay with being flexible. It's
mm.
okay to be flexible.
Wait, say that one more time for the people in the back.
That's the job. I mean, people go in, and I understand our venting sessions. Trust me, I do. I understand that, but this is what we signed up for. And if you can't be flexible, it's not for you.
Listen, you're nicer than I am. In a workshop, I will definitely hear somebody venting. But in real life, I'm like Cameron. Don't come around me if you just maintaining. You got to be about
Mhm.
your business. Like you said, if you plan well, then it's easy to be flexible.
Yeah, it
That's really
is.
what it comes to. Yeah. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening on Spotify or iTunes, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button and share this episode with your family, friends, and colleagues who are interested in self improvement through lifelong learning. And now for a word from one of our sponsors.
We had the pleasure of listening to George this morning on project-based learning, and he shared his story that his aunt encouraged him to go into education. And she was absolutely right. He is so talented at sharing information in a way that's easy to digest and is inspiring to go back and actually implement and make change.
So my takeaway is that Mr. Valenzuela was very inspiring. He was very motivational and helped me to think about a new way of getting my teachers excited.
When I set out to do a workshop, my key deliverable is energy. And this momentum is used to make connections, inspire, educate, and ultimately transform the audience so that they're compelled to take that same energy back to their schools and communities. And although we have fun, we tackle the hard topics of today, like educational policy, pedagogy for improving curriculum and instruction, and empowering today's students by connecting our work to the needs of the workforce. So please consider lifelong learning defined for your next keynote, workshop, or conference, and overall instructional and educational coaching needs. My name is George, and I hope to connect with you soon.
We would love to have him come and do some work with us and help us be a little more successful and help our students to be more successful.
Cabrina, your Instagram and TikTok are full of real moments. You grade papers late, you decompress after long days. Why is it important for you to show the behind the scenes of your teaching life?
To let people out there know they're not alone. I mean, I've
Mm.
always been that person to put myself in people's shoes. I've always taught my kids that. I taught my husband that. Like, if somebody is driving crazy and they're trying to cut you off, maybe don't get mad first. Think, what if they had an emergency?
You
Like, what if somebody's in the hospital?
gotta get
Like,
the insulin shot.
right. What if they got to get there? You know what I
Your
mean?
wife is
So
pregnant and she's about to give birth.
there's so much perspective to life. We just got to have that understanding.
Mm,
So,
It's very simple how you said it, but it's just empathizing with others. We're locked in right now.
right.
Sabrina, you've built a strong online community. I wouldn't call followers. You have a community, which I'm striving to do, and I'm very honest about that. How has sharing your journey on socials impacted your teaching practice and personal growth? And I ask you this because you're very polished, as I believe I am. And success is never an accident, it leaves clues.
I feel like it's impacted my educational journey as a teacher in so many different ways. It's helped me build confidence. I have
Mm,
confidence in the classroom. In the
yeah.
classroom, I could be whoever I want and those kids will believe me. Like, I could literally show up and say, I am a twin. And they'll be like, oh, you have a twin? You're Miss St. Louis's twin. I could do whatever I want in the classroom. There's so much confidence there. And it's really helped me. Social media actually is what helped me have even more confidence in the classroom,
Mm,
because
mm,
I've been so reserved all my life. To come out and put basically all my business out there has really helped me gain a level of confidence professionally and personally, and it's
mm, mm,
impacted both ways, my professional life and my personal life. And do believe in being authentic, but I also do believe not showing everybody your business. It needs to be done strategically so
right.
that it could be helpful. I'm not going to show a bunch of mess without being helpful. I'm going to show some mess and I'm going to show you how I got through the mess. I think what a lot of people do is that they show the mess and they call it a day, but they're not providing any value to their mess. How are you getting through
Mm,
the day-to-day life? Sometimes you have to model, and that's what I try to do. I try to
yes.
model what I do in the classroom and on social media, and modeling on social media has strengthened my modeling strategies in the classroom too. So that's been wildly impactful.
Two things here. Number one, when I'm watching you in the classroom, yes, you're chanting with the kids, you are warming them up, you're being yourself, you're very culturally relevant, but also you're very pedagogically sound. I'm a researcher. One of the biggest indicators to whether somebody enters our profession or remains in our profession is their confidence for teaching. First, they have to believe that they can do it, so they enter, right? The research shows this. But then they remain because they know that they can do it. That self
Mhm.
efficacy. I see that in you. And the second thing is this: I believe a lot of influencers get this wrong. They go online, they want the audience to validate them. There's a
Mhm.
lot of look at me, look at what I'm doing, look where I'm going, look
Yeah.
where I'm wearing. What I see in you that is different, which I think you got right, that speakers and coaches, anyone who has people watching them has to understand the validation already came by them watching. You're pouring into them because you're modeling how to decompress, how to not skip meals, how to pour into your babies at the school, how to pour into the ones at home, as you say, wifing, and your belief in God. People need modeling, and you do that in spades.
Wow. Thanks. That's all I want. I don't want to just do social media without providing value. I mean, I'm doing it for fun. I'm not seeking any kind of paid opportunity. And if I did, thank God. But that's not what I'm seeking here. I'm seeking on being purposeful in everything that I do. And I really do pray and hope that when people see my life, it's not to say my life is easy. We don't all
Mm,
show our issues online. I do want people to see you can get through the
mm,
funk, through it.
much respect. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening on Spotify or iTunes, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button and share this episode with your family, friends, and colleagues who are interested in self improvement through lifelong learning. Now, for a word from one of our sponsors. I move around a lot of schools, and we're seeing a huge disconnect. A lot of teachers that have come from non-traditional pathways, especially in the past few years. And so just interactions, expectations is really the first step. All of my teachers, raise your right hand and please repeat after me. I promise that I will speak positivity into my students. All of my administrators, all my directors, all my principals, all my coordinators, raise your hands, please, your right hand, and repeat after me. I promise that I will speak positivity into my faculty and staff. Thank you. Cabrina, artificial intelligence, AI, is becoming a big part of education in our lives. Have you started using any AI tools in your teaching or content creation?
Use one app in my content creation, but it's not to create content for me. It's just to see when's the best time to post. I also don't use it in the classroom. I really truly believe that even though that's the way that we're going, I still believe that at any given point, anything can give out. I don't know if you heard, there's solar flares happening in space. If our phone shut off, if our power shuts off, what do we know how to do in the physical without, oh, how do I do this? What do we know? Yes, it's the way that we're going, but I also believe that children and adults alike need to know how to do it the old fashioned way
Mhm.
and the new way. But I don't use any AI, honestly, in my classroom.
Wow, your TikTok and your Instagram just looks amazing. So I just figured you
Thank you.
probably did. And I'll be honest, not to give pushback, but just feedback.
Mhm.
I believe AI is where we're at and where we're going. However, how people are predicting doomsday and all these
Yes.
things, I don't know about all that because we've seen this before, right?
Right.
We've seen something that has come on the market, has been thrust into the national spotlight, and everybody's on it. And then it's basically gone after a while.
Mhm.
I don't think AI will be gone. I think a few years from now, maybe like 2 or 3 or 4, people are going to want to know that somebody did something on their own. For
Mhm.
example, if you go online, I'm sure you can take Beyonce's voice using AI, and you can basically make new music.
Yeah.
With a hologram, you can have her doing a show on your laptop. However, people are paying hundreds and thousands of dollars to see her in person.
Right.
So there's a value in the human connection. So I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. You often share strategies for decompressing and recharging. What's one self care practice that helps you reset and come back stronger every day?
Like giving myself grace. I think that practice is so imperative to everyone. Giving yourself grace. You should be okay with sitting down and doing nothing if you need to, because that is filling that space that's been taken all week. I just believe having grace and not feeling guilty for doing things that help you is a strategy that I live by. And I learned that in therapy. When I was in therapy, I learned giving myself grace. I was so burnt out. I was so drained because I felt like I needed to do what people needed me to do. And
Mm,
sometimes you don't. Give yourself enough grace, practice that strategy, and do what fills your cup.
there's nothing left to say to that. That's a mic drop moment. Looking ahead, Cabrina, what are your goals for your platforms and your impact on education?
My goals is to be a little bit more detailed, especially for the new school year. I do want to show my teaching strategies. I'm not just, oh, a ball of fun and cheers and chants. I am a teacher. I love to teach, and I really do want to share more of my strategies, especially for the new teachers who are coming in. There's so many things happening with education, and people are jumping away from it. You have people talking a lot of smack about it, even parents. And I just want to be able to show day to day real life practices in the classroom so that people could have a better peek in what teachers do, that we're not living in our classrooms. We also still have lives. Like I want to show both of those perspectives. I hope I can provide a lot more detailed, strategic teaching in my lessons for the future in my social media.
What a perfect way to end this show. Cabrina, let's put this out into God's universe. How can people contact you to speak at their school, conference, or event? Because I believe you have some very important things to say.
Oh, my email, cabrinastlouis@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram, DM me there. I always check it. I always try to respond to everybody who messages me. DM me or email me. My email is the link on my bio.
And because you are an influencer, how can people follow you on your favorite social media platforms?
By following Cabrina_Dixon on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm trying my best with YouTube. You can follow me there, and that name is called Daily Dose of the Dixons.
That's it for this episode. Until next time, this is the Lifelong Learning Defined podcast. Whether you're a teacher or administrator, you lead by walking alongside your students and your staff. You teach them what to do, you model for them. Let's say you're in a situation where you don't know what to do and you bring in a coach or a resource, you learn alongside them. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Now, the second thing is this. Give your people feedback, not pushback. Whoever you push back on, whether physically or verbally, they're going to do it right back immediately. And if they're intimidated by our position, our status, they're going to do it behind our backs and ruin our programs. My guy. I want to leave you on this note. Trajectories can be changed. When I was in 10th grade, here's a snapshot of who I was in 10th grade. There's a rapper named Rakim. I'm not sure if you guys know about Rakim, but he used to say, it's not where you're from, it's where you at. And I played that on my headphones at 16 years old every day until I believed it. And I'm showing you this because I'm seeing versions of this throughout American schools. This is your reality of what you have to face. If I can do it, any kid can do it, but they have to work hard. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Lifelong Learning Defined podcast with George Valenzuela.